Generic greetings and welcome back once again to Prison Architect. Today's beverage is a very refreshing apple and elderflower juice drink, very nice indeed. So welcome back to Prison Architect and what is a new and maybe even surprising release. This is the Perfect Storm DLC and accompanying update called The Tower. Now before I go any further, I want to state for the record and for full disclosure that this is a sponsored video. Paradox reached out and was interested in a collaboration to bring you this video to showcase some of the things you can experience with this update and DLC. I agreed with the understanding that nothing is censored, all content is available, etc. So with all that agreed, said and done for, this is the Perfect Storm DLC and the Tower update, which is out now. If you check out the links in the description, you will find the store page as well as more information on the game and the DLC, etc. So in this video, I want to go through some of the new stuff. It's not going to be exhaustive, but certainly representative of what you can find with the update and the DLC, and it's mainly focusing on weather and the extremes of weather, as well as the new options and some of the new like floor tiles and other things like that. So we're going to quickly run through the patch notes and I'm going to load up some prisons to showcase, well, a lot of the things you're going to have to be dealing with, quite frankly. So, preparing for the worst, new options are available to enable both weather-based events and rat infestation systems at different intensity levels. So if you go to create new prison here, I should also point out some new dogs. We've got a Shiba Inu and also a black setter there. But anyway, avoid distractions of the nice doggos. We have now weather and intensity settings. You've got the disable option as well as the ability to put it back to legacy, which is what the game had previously. However, you also have new options for low, medium and high settings, and that will be bringing in more extremes of weather, so things like freezing temperatures that can ice over the roads, freeze the pipes and burst them and things like that, and also the flip side, which is searing heat, where you can't even go outside and take a deep breath and you have to manage obviously the prisoners and keep them indoors and that sort of thing. You've also got the starting seasons naturally, so you can start at spring, summer, autumn or winter, and you also have options for rat infestations. So previously, if your facility was a cesspool of filth, then it just looked a bit garbage and there was obviously needs to be dealt with, but nothing overly problematic. However, now you've got rats and they'll turn up and look cute and then start gnawing through everything, so you want to be dealing with that, and it's more about prevention and preventative maintenance rather than dealing with all of the rats if they actually turn up. So yeah, after 20 inmates and your first janitor, that can happen, so you want to keep things clean. You also have the ability to turn on and off temperature, which is different from weather and intensity. So the weather and intensity will affect the temperature, but they won't have, the prisoners and such won't have a temperature need, a warmth need. With that turned on, you'll need to place radiators and deal with that. You've also got a mutator here, and at the bottom we can see we've got the doggy do mutator, which dogs will now have a small calamity on their own. Because someone needed to code that, obviously. Nice to have the option, but maybe we'll leave that for the time being. Moving on, multiple support options are now available for items and facilities, training programs, emergency services, and coverage plans. Basically, you can automate stuff that turns up to fix what you've messed up. So automating in fire brigades or maintenance workers, plumbers, things like that. Also set up different deterrents for rats, extinguishers, alarms for fires, and others to help detect and prepare for changes in the weather. We'll get onto that, let's say, when I load a prison. Beware of the rats. After meeting some minimum requirements, which we found is a janitor and 20 prisoners, rats can start appearing in your prison, so keep your prison clean and tidy and stay on top of any tunnels. Yeah, tunneling as well. And I imagine lots of cleaning cupboards. Don't fall for those cute little faces. At first they only make a mess and nibble on ingredients, but at high numbers rats can cause disease, damage electrical cables and fences, and even dig tunnels. That is suboptimal to say the least. Calamitous weather, part 1. There are now 3 types of extreme weather. You've got, lots of weather. Deep freeze, lightning storms, and heat waves. I'm not going to explain all that in detail. We'll have a look at some of those in a moment. But yeah, more stuff to deal with. Deep freeze can be notably problematic, I've found. Also, with the update as well, 2 new guard dogs, which we've seen. Duration for visitation can be customized, which is good. This is a real one as well. Really good one. Snipers also have a non-lethal alternative, allowing escape attempts and hostile inmates to be stopped without any serious harm caused. Very much like the addition of that. Along with these options, new items in flooring and coloured floors and sofas and things like that. So yeah, that sort of thing. Anyway, I'm going to load up a previous save and we'll see some of the extremes of weather. Okay, so this is a prison we've made in a previous series, and I can confirm that yes, you can turn on the new weather stuff. You just go to extras and then into your map settings, and yes, you can turn it on in here. Obviously, I've enabled the new stuff. You can say weather and intensity there. You can disable it, put it at legacy, or put it to high, which is what I've set it to. And I've also changed the dog. You can change the dog in here as well. So yeah, there you are. So as you can see, we have some rain falling, which is not uncommon in the game when you turn that on, but also at the top here we've now got weather. It says season winter and current weather is rain, so not a massive problem. It is -4 degrees, but we should be able to keep everybody happy. If we go over to our logistics and temperature, you can see everything is nice and toasty warm. 20 degrees C across the board. Very much shorts weather, although -4 I'd probably still be out in shorts. Anyway, we've also got if we scroll over here, a couple of add-ons. So over on the bottom left I have a weather center. It's just a 2x3 new room, so there it is there, weather center. It needs to be 2x3, have a weather machine and be indoors. I've just retrofitted it in the security room, and it allows you to place the weather machine. You also can place an antenna to give you a better readout, and that allows you to check out the weather. So current weather and the current time, so it is 4:23 AM, currently raining. Yeah, we'd probably figure that out ourselves. And it says the current season is winter, and the temperature range is ranging from -4.6 degrees C to 2.8 degrees C. Predicted weather is on the right-hand side. As I said, the weather, what's it called again? The weather antenna can give you better forecasts and longer-range forecasts. So we've got tomorrow a light blizzard, after that a blizzard, and then after that a severe blizzard. So the next couple of days in this facility are going to be very, very fun. Do I mean fun? Eventful, let's just say that. So it has duration, which is currently unavailable for these. The temperature range is ranging for the light blizzard, oh, good grief, -22.5 degrees C up to -12, so it's not going to get anywhere near above freezing. Precipitation is high, so it's going to be, I guess, snowing in this case. Wind speed is 18. I'm not entirely sure how the wind speed affects things. But it may just be, you know, based on the way the rain's falling or whatever, but we'll see later on. Visibility is also severe, so it can alter that as well. And then tomorrow it gets colder and then colder. Good grief, wind speed is actually lower, but the temperature later on is down to nearly -30. That's going to be a problem. Also, what's a problem is the bottom here. Weather warning issued, category light blizzard in 8 hours. So we're going to get a blizzard. Like in previous DLCs, we also have a new tab up here. This is About Perfect Storm, and it tells you about the things you can experience. So deep freeze, lightning storms, heat waves, and rat infestations, and also calamity prevention, etc. I also have another room as well. Up the top here, we have a training room, which you can see has rat traps, which is a cage with some cheese in it, because, of course, why not? We've got a first aid station and also a grit bin, and I've also put some grit bins around the facility to try and deal with the inevitable that's going to turn up in the next couple of days. This training room is part of the new training options, so we can go over to our programs, and it's now split into prisoner programs and staff programs. So previously you had your guard taser certification, that's now in there, which is good, but you also have electrician training, fire safety training, first aid training, and cold control training. And if you have people pass that, which for example the cold control cleaning is led by a foreman in a training room, and it's for janitors, gardeners and workers, if they pass that, they can then basically deal with a lot of the problems that you may experience. Similar thing for the fire safety training, and we can place things like fire extinguishers, which I think I have placed in and around here, and no, I haven't. Let's just sort that out then. So over here we can go for is it fire, and we have fire extinguishers. So I'm going to place a fire extinguisher there, and you probably want to just dot these around anywhere that can go on fire. So maybe one just outside in storage, and then one in here. I've got fire prevention in place with the sprinklers, but with that running so close to maximum, that's going to blow up at some point. It's more of a question of when rather than if. You also notice that the prison is trying to be... I'm trying to clean it as fast as possible. I only had, with this save, 2 janitors, and it was absolutely filthy, so I've just put more janitors in. I think we've got 8 in total now. So yeah, new training rooms, new options for the weather, and how long we've got to go? 6 hours before things turn up. I've also got options for stay indoors, so have all prisoners and non-vital staff prioritising indoor activities where possible to stay inside during calamities. They will accept this order during a calamity only. So if it's but like now it's just a bit, it's raining a bit, you get a bit wet. That's not necessarily, most people would say, a calamity. So yeah, when it gets down to well, ice breaking the walls or something, you probably want to tell them to stay indoors. We have in our reports and at the bottom coverage, well, a new coverage tab. So each plan requires daily payments but provides the ability to automatically call emergency services when your prison is in need, along with providing discounts on any staff wages and items. So we've got automatic emergency services enabled. You can just blanket turn them all off if you do so desire. And oh, we have the foreman calling. Let's see what the foreman wants. Is that new art? That's quite nice. So due to some logistics error, we are receiving extra supplies. Okay, this is, I don't think, a bit of a problem, unless those supplies are lots of water chips, which we can't use. That's a data reference. Okay, arson and accidents plan provides automatic requesting of emergency services and also provides multiple discounts. So that is, if we turn that on, firefighters, so we'll have that enabled. Squads requested only the one, and the activation condition is a small fire. And you've also got active fire alarms as well. So basically it's saying that if we get a small fire, dispatch one firefighter. That requires 1,000 generic units of currency per day, whereas if you were to call them in manually, it would be 100. So yeah, it's expensive. It is very, very expensive, but it is automated. You've also got prison preservation, which is to require road maintenance when you've got 10 frozen/melted road tiles. You've got prison restoration plan, which is to hire repairmen and plumbers in case stuff breaks. So the repairmen naturally repair stuff and plumbers will fix the plumbing. Health and safety plan, you get paramedics and riot police. So if you want to set up automation, then you can. Obviously it is expensive to do that, but if you're running with quite a high daily cash flow like we are here, you could turn it on and it means that things are going to be managed. While we've got this tab open, you can see we've got plumbers and repairmen and road maintenance. So road maintenance, I'm not going to hire it just yet because there's no real point. In fact, what I'm going to do is speed up to max speed there and see who turns up and what turns up. Let's go for weather. 2 hours in order for this blizzard to arrive. We are running low on cash. Yes, we are. One thing as well, if we go over to our bureaucracy, we've got the non-lethal sniper. That's a $5,000 unlock. New ammunition provides snipers the ability to use their gun without the fear of fatalities. And oh, good grief, pause. Oh god, it's all gone south really fast. Yeah, so you can get that. I would have liked perhaps the non-lethal option to be there by default. I don't necessarily like the idea of you having to buy the non-lethal option, have the lethal option as the default, but then again it is splitting off for the armory, so you know what you're getting into, I guess. So, the foreman, what do they want? Showerheads are freeze very easily and there's not much we can do to stop it from happening. Hopefully the showers that are still in good working order will suffice. And now the CEO is calling. God, we're really in demand here. In such cold conditions, the prisoners' sprinklers may freeze, putting lives at risk. Make sure you have personnel with adequate fire training in the event of such a scenario. And now the officer is calling as well, because everything is freezing over. What is it? It's minus 22 degrees. Good grief. Okay, the only good thing about this weather is that it's going to slow down anyone planning to dig their way out. And now the doctor. Apparently, should they just provide a massive ledger to us? Reports that a few prisoners may have the flu. Action may be needed to take care of this, to get it under control. And then the foreman again. Sections of the pipework are frozen solid. If they don't have any insulation, they'll likely freeze. Who else after this? Oh, nobody, apparently. Okay, so we can see walls are now freezing. We've got ice on all of these walls here. And oh, look, all of this is saying it's without water. That's because if we check out our utilities, I think we've got some frozen pipework somewhere. So where would that be coming from? There, it's coming from here. So we can see we have a boiler. Where is the boiler? The boiler is here. It's providing hot water to these radiators. But after this radiator, it's frozen solid. So none of this is being supplied. Similarly, we've got some problems here because that's where the freeze is happening. You can see the freeze there as well. So what can you do to fix that? Well, now we have options for insulation. So you can go for the water pump insulation to just stop it being frozen. You've also got the boiler insulation, again to stop the boiler being frozen, and pipe hot insulation as well as pipe small and just pipes in general. So you can make sure that your pipes are completely insulated against the cold. It means they won't freeze over. I haven't done that for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it's really expensive, so it's very cost prohibitive to do that. The insulation, actually, is it that? it's not terrible. The small insulation, the pipe insulation, I mean, that's a 200 run if we do that there, so it's not too bad. The hot one is 15, and you've also got cable protector as well, which I think that's electrical surges. Yes, we don't necessarily need that at this stage, but if you place like all of the boiler insulation, that's 500, so 500 multiply by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, you've got, that's quite an expensive endeavour, similar for the water pump insulation, which is another 5 grand as well. So yeah, so I haven't placed it because of cost, and also, quite frankly, I thought you just would like to see what's going on here. Also, notice that this is all frozen, so people are now walking around where it's really slippery, so they're going to slow down. It's harder to dig through the ground. The foreman is calling again. The roads are getting dangerous, right? So the roads, you see this, are getting dangerous. They're all frosting over, so we need to do something about that. This is where, if we checked out our coverage, we can go for the prison preservation plan, and that's already enabled. So if I just unpause that, we should now get an automatic road maintenance technician who has a gritter. So they're going to bring the gritter along and grit all of the road. So even though these guys here, the visitors, are walking on ice, they are very well, eventually, hopefully, going to go on the gritted version and will be able to walk quicker. So there we go. So it's now safer and quicker to bring in resources, although, to be fair, they did just sort of walk through that. Also, you may notice that this facility is now getting some grit everywhere. We have the gritter here. This is a janitor who is not terribly happy with their choice of profession at this stage, I would imagine, because it is minus 22 degrees and their job is to place grit everywhere, but at least we are gritting the prison. So it's going to take a while to grit the entire thing, but once it's grit, it should stay around for a little bit of time. Back over to weather. We're currently on our light blizzard. Tomorrow we will have blizzard, then severe blizzard, then back to blizzard. So it's like a rolling thing where it won't just go, well, it won't necessarily go from everything's fine, everything is fine, everything's fine, everyone's frozen to death, everyone's fine, everyone's fine. So it'll slowly ramp up and down. But obviously it's dealing with all that is a problem. And oh, good grief, this is Chance Miller here, who, well, along with some of his other inmates, they're turning a bit of a funny colour. I'm going to guess they have a warmth need. Yeah, they do. And also, they've got flu as well, so we need to deal with that. There's a lot to deal with, especially on saves that you've just retrofitted. It's getting pretty icy on the footpaths. Janitors should be able to lay grit down if properly trained. Well, see, we've already dealt with that. This is good. I could hire some more janitors. I've only got 8, but because I haven't done the training, they won't be able to do that. I do have training on the go. If I go to my programs and staff programs, we have electrician training, fire safety training, first aid training, and cold training. So yeah, we are dealing with that, and good grief, all the shower heads are frozen, so there's nothing we can do about that. What temperature is it, by the way? Let's have a quick look here and see that the temperature, it's 20 degrees still, but the doctor's probably calling about the risk of something. Yeah, seasonal flu. It's important to try keep infected prisoners separated from the rest of the prison and populated and possible. Direct them to the infirmary for treatment. That just hits a little bit too close to home. I don't know what I can do about that when literally the walls are freezing up. But yeah, this is a blizzard. It's not ideal. It's it's nice to manage, and it gives you more external factors to deal with that you just can't, you turn this on, that's it, you're going to have to deal with it. It's RL. You get bad weather sometimes, and you are going to have to plan depending on where you are to deal with all that one. And obviously you've got the added problem with some people might try and take advantage of that to, make escapes or do whatever. And yeah, it's also quite expensive to manage as well. But you can see we've also got some of these pipes coming in, which should hopefully thaw these out. And naturally, if you start off in the spring, you have time to deal with this sort of thing. But what happens when it goes the other way, when it's just slightly warmer? Okay, this time it's a little bit warmer, but also we have some other issues, as in it is currently 1 degree and we have a weak storm. And oh, hang on but a moment. I fell off the back. Looks like item meant for a different facility fell off a truck passing by. And Yeah, we got one there. Also, foreman, where did these trees come from? The winds must be stronger than we thought. Deliveries are slow to get through. Perhaps we should send some workers over to remove the debris. We have a fallen tree. Let me just dismantle that, and hopefully we'll get some logs to sell. Congratulations on handling the calamity. You can expect a reward in the near future. So the storm is over. So we had a bit of thunder, a bit of lightning, but no massive lightning strikes. If you were to have some lightning strikes, however, there is a lightning rod. So you can place lightning rods that cover a certain area, and it says item redirect and safely absorb lightning strikes. The damage that can be caused by lightning strikes, well, we'll save that for another time, shall we? Needless to say, it's another thing to look out for. And oh, there we go, is the mysterious crate as well. Ooh, secret things. So storms can cause some problems, and indeed that's a hearse trying to get over a fallen tree. And that's not a combination of words I don't think I thought I would ever use in life. It seems we have another thunderstorm brewing here, and unlike the previous one, it's going to get a lot worse. So the previous one, according to the forecast, which we know weather forecasts are always right, we had a bit of a storm, a weak storm it was, and then back to sunny because it is currently spring. However, this one goes from a weak storm to a thunderstorm. That's at 5:85 a.m. So, well, we're about to tick through that right now, so let's just see what happens. Still weak thunderstorm, and 58 it is. 5:58, let's just unpause it there, and see if we get anything serious. The chief is calling. All the guards are outdoors reporting the lack of visibility in this weather. Something bear in mind when everyone tries to make a break for it. And also, there are problems with visibility with our snipers. Yeah, you will get that. So you can see it's very hazy. It's also notebook page in the shower. That's probably going to get quite wet. Yeah, it's very hazy. We've got all of the lightning strikes. We've got the... Good grief, we've got a lightning strike over there. Let's just zoom out and see what sort of damage that may cause. We have no lightning arresters, no lightning rods, and it's also raining. I really wouldn't like to be the guards under or in that guard tower there. And also, I noticed that my water boilers in this particular facility are just outside because well, of course they are. Oh, good grief. The storm's playing havoc with the local power grid. The installation of backup generators is a good fail-safe. Yes, it is. If only I had the £5,000 and foresight to place this backup generator. So it's a backup generator, £5,000. It's like a solar power thing, and you can place it, well, wherever you can fit it in, basically, and that will hopefully supply you with adequate power. And yeah, everything is powered off. And the foreman is now calling. Most dangerous thing about a storm is lightning, with both objects and people in danger being struck. Lightning rods will be able to redirect the lightning. Yes, they will be able to redirect the lightning. It's currently striking over near the road there, and I'm just worried if it strikes inside the facility. But you can see visibility is absolutely terrible. We've got no power and danger level increasing because, well, naturally, we have nowhere to cook for the prisoners. We now have power back on, so hopefully we can get at least something on the menu there so nobody starves to death again. And also some... At least the metal detectors are now working. I'm guessing with the power out, they may have taken that opportunity to take stuff and move it around the facility, knowing that the metal detectors don't work. And maybe that canine unit there, that's Joy there, the dog, will be able to sniff some out. We're still on the thunderstorm here, and for some reason, like I say, the lightning is cracking on the right-hand side. I wonder if the fences will draw that in. I wonder if a brick wall will be less... Did that hit... That hit the workman. I'm sure that lightning hit near the workman there. Wow. So if you want to, you can say stay indoors. So I'm activated stay indoors. Everybody should charge back into their cells. It takes a little time, naturally, but it should be now non-essential personnel. Non-essential personnel, stay indoors. Only the ones that have to go outside or need to travel will do that. Yeah. Lightning. Dangerous. Don't don't try to utilise it. And when I say utilise, walk outside in the rain. Severe weather detected. Incoming weather event has been detected, which is... Oh, that's very orange. So we have a new type of weather again. This is a hot spell. Predicted weather, hot spell followed by a heat wave. It goes from its currently lovely sunny temperature of 7.3 degrees up to 21.8, and then changes to hot spell followed by heat wave. That is good visibility, naturally. No chance of rain. Actually says low, so technically it might be able to rain. Low wind speed, but also the temperature can get up to 43.2 degrees C. And for someone who lives in the UK, that means basically about 2 inches from the surface of the sun. So how are we going to deal with that? Well, naturally we're going to tell people to stay indoors, and we want to make sure we have a lot of fire prevention. So we want to go to fire extinguisher, and I'm going to place a fire extinguisher in and around the facility so that if something does go south, we can hopefully deal with it. Obviously, we've been running training programs for it. We've been running a lot of those sort of things to try and mitigate the issues that we may face, but this is also a retrofit prison. The roads are getting dangerous. Any vehicle passing the prison are going to have to travel much slower until conditions improve, and that's a gritter. Is what's happened there to the road? The road is the road melting? It's a 35 degrees C. The heat has made the doors expand. We must get workers to cool them down. What good grief? The cells are locked shut. Oh yes. What I'm going to do then is, because I can, turn on all of these preventative measures and see if any of that actually happens. Well, for a start, paramedics are turning up naturally, because that's something we have to deal with. You notice how bright it is now? It's like all blown out of proportion as well, the colour, because it's so warm. A lot of prisoners have a overheating status effect there. I'm going to tell them to stay indoors. This jail door says to do cool down. It is to do, so someone should be coming along to deal with that. I'm just waiting until we have someone come to try and fix it. Although, do we have the workers? Are they able to do that? I think they should be able to do that, although we also see Tim's here is overheating. Yeah, obviously this is compounded by the fact that we have a facility that is a high and, well, medium and high facility. So, yeah, that's going to cause some issues, and indeed is causing issues. People get very sort of upset in the heat, don't they? So we've got even more expansion of the doors, with it now being 37. Oh, finally it's reducing down. Now going to 36 there. And also prisoners are very upset because they've been stuck inside. There's been no food. So I'm going to have to try and deal with that. It's currently set, if I look at my regime, to, yeah, we haven't got any eat. I'm going to set all of this to eat. I need the prisoners to come out their cells and eat. So it's about managing this, about trying to make sure you do the best that you can anyway to mitigate any issues. And this has been compounded by skipping ahead a bit, and obviously we have a high risk facility here, so the prisoners are naturally inclined to be a bit upset anyway. But yeah, more to deal with, more to manage, more to look out, but also more events, more weather, more temperature, more. Anyway, that has been a bit of the Perfect Storm DLC and the tower update. We've seen a lot of the weather and temperature effects, and certainly a lot of the extremes of weather and the types of problems that you can experience when you have that activated. Naturally, it's been compounded a little bit by having it set to the highest setting, but I thought that was best to give you an idea of the extremes that you can experience. We haven't seen the rats, but I still think it's fairly representative of what you can experience. We'll save those for another day. As I said, this is now available right now. If you want to check the link out in the description, you can see the store page as well as get more information, etc. Once again, this has been a sponsored video by Paradox, so thank you very much for them, and hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have any tips, suggestions, changes, things you would like to see, etc., by all means let me know in the comments. And also for the inevitable future series, what would you like to see? Would you like to see settings for maximum weather, maximum temperature, go as difficult as we can manage? Would you like it a little bit more chill, and put it to maybe the medium and maybe get rid of rats? Nah, of course not. Of course not. We're going to put it up to high and see what we can get there, and maybe even the odd mutator or such. Either way, I hope you have enjoyed this little look at the Perfect Storm and Tower update. Hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and generic pardons.